Hi YouTube, my name is Jay and with my girlfriend Shiro, we bought this Ford T250 half converted camper van in October of 2025. And so this video is going to be the logistics of buying a used camper van in Ontario. I'm going to walk you the steps from A to Z for buying from a private seller. Specifically, we got ours off of Facebook Marketplace. So number one obviously is to check out the van itself. So we drove out to the seller, met up with him and just checked out the vibe, checked out the van, and we had something called a OBD scanner, which is something that you can plug into the dashboard console, and this allows you to read up any error codes. This is basically what mechanics use. And so you can actually also match up the vehicle information number with the ownership papers as well as any sort of document, just to make sure you're looking at the actual van itself. So I did that, and then we felt good about the van itself. It was half converted by the sellers, and then they still had like brand new equipment for the rest of the conversion that they were including with the sale. So we agreed on a price. Then it was time for us to figure out the rest of the steps. So first thing you want to get is, of course, the insurance. In Ontario, not every insurance company will insure a camper van, specifically that one that you converted yourself. And so for us, we did our research, and we know definitely for sure Desjardins and Cooperators, they will both do insurance for self-converted camper vans. And for us, we decided to go with Desjardins just because I have some other services bundled together with them. And what we paid in Ontario for this half-converted camper van was going to be $130 per month for a 1-year policy, and that will cover full liability. Everything covered. And then the other option we had was $92, and that is only third-party liability. So basically, if you get into an accident where you are at fault, the insurance will not cover you. And we decided to go with the $92 one because really the van is half converted, as you can see from the photos and videos, and so we're gonna basically park it and not really drive it at all while we do this conversion. And because it's October, it's kind of getting cold, we couldn't start the conversion right away. The great thing is that if you're just putting the car into park, then you can actually reduce your premiums even further. So I actually just did that today after the van is fully transferred over, and the monthly premium becomes $20 a month, where it's just literally sitting in my driveway. I'm not going to be driving it anymore. So that really saves you a lot of money while you do the conversions. Okay, so once you have the insurance set up, they're going to ask you for photos, the vehicle information, VIN number. And for us specifically, because the van was already kind of half converted, they asked about for photos of the van itself. Basically, when you are getting insured, they're going to insure it as a personal vehicle or a commercial vehicle. So personal vehicle will have the blue license plates, whereas commercial vehicles will have the black license plates. And for us, my insurance said, okay, we're going to insure you as a personal vehicle because I can see from the photos that you're intending to use it for conversion into RV, recreational vehicle, down the line. And whenever you finish that conversion, you get the vehicle appraised, and then we'll redo the premiums again. But when I actually went to Service Ontario, they wouldn't issue me the blue license plates because in their system, apparently, once you put in the specific vehicle type, they just gave me the black license plate, which is a commercial plate. Luckily for me, when I called back to my insurance, they said, okay, that's totally fine. That happens sometimes, even though it's insured as personal, where their system will just give you the black license plates and you have no issue driving it as it is. So this might happen to you as well, because most of these vans where people do conversions, they are commercial vehicles. Like people in the trades will typically use them. So that's about in the insurance part of it. Okay, so this next section is about paying the seller. So the actual logistics, you are buying from an individual that you probably met off of like Facebook Marketplace or autotraders.ca or even Kijiji. So there needs to be some sort of trust or intermediary between you guys. And so best way to do it is to hopefully you and the seller bank at the same institution. Then basically what you do is you just go to your seller's bank, and then they can just automatically transfer the money from your account to their account. And then once that happens, the seller will sign off on the bill of sale, which is usually something from the used vehicle information package, something they should have like pre-bought from Service Ontario. In addition to on the vehicle portion of the green kind of card. So the green card is divided into two parts. One is the ownership papers, and then the other side is the plate portion. So the plates will stay with the seller. You have to get new plates, and the ownership information portion you take with you when you register the car. So that's what we did. But if you're banking at another institution, then I think what makes sense will be you, the buyer, and the seller both go to your bank account branch together, so that the seller can see you take out a money order or a bank draft, so that they know that when they deposit that money, it's going to be fine. And then you guys go to the seller's bank, he deposits the money, and then they sign over the bill of sale. So I think that's basically what makes sense in my mind to kind of both cover the buyer as well as the seller. Now, obviously, some people are more risk tolerant, and they might think this is like all not needed. But in that regard, I would say that there are scams out there, and the first time we tried to buy a van, it was very sketchy. I'll kind of mention this story at the end, just kind of like a warning for potential buyers. Okay. And so that's the paying the sellers. And so once you have this information, you have the bill of sale from the used vehicle information package, you have the ownership, you have the keys to the car, then you want to go to Service Ontario and you want to register the car in your name. So they're going to ask you for your proof of insurance. They're going to have to ask for the bill of sale, and whether or not the seller comes with you, it's not really needed. Like I just went by myself, but sometimes people like to have the seller come with you. And then when they register the vehicle, they're gonna need the safety standard certificate. So the car that I bought still needed some work before I can get the safety standard certificate. But once you sign the bill of sale, you only have 6 days to register it. So I actually just went right away because I wasn't sure how long the mechanic was going to take. And they were able to issue me a license plate just on that first time I went, even without the safety standard certificate. I'm not sure if that's normal. Maybe some people can comment whether or not that's a thing. But I had the license plate, and with the license plate, they also gave me a transit sticker. So they said, like, if you put this transit sticker on the vehicle, then you can use this to kind of move the vehicle to your mechanic. So the previous ownership papers had fit under the ownership portion, and so I'm not sure if that affected it, like whether if it was unfit, then maybe they wouldn't allow you to actually register and get the plates right away. So I'm not really sure, but that's what happened in our case. And then in terms of paying taxes, basically, when you buy a used camper van privately in Ontario, you'll need to pay the sales tax of 13%. But the important part is the sale tax is not always based on the purchase price you and the seller agreed on. Instead, Service Ontario calculates the tax on the highest of the three values. Number one, the actual sales price you paid. Number two, the vehicle appraised value. Or number three, the wholesale value or their internal Canadian Red Book value. So between these three things, whatever is the highest amount is going to be the 13% you pay on. So that means if you got a great deal on your van, but your Red Book sales value is higher, you'll pay taxes on the higher amount. So if that is the case, then what you want to do, you want to get the car appraised by a licensed appraiser to show that the van is actually cheaper, so that you can pay less taxes. So this is also like a important part of this whole process that not many people get into. So that's something to keep in mind. In terms of the internal Red Book value of the van, this will be usually shown on the used vehicle information package that the seller has purchased from Service Ontario. In our case, our used vehicle information package actually did not have wholesale value of the van. So I'm not even sure if I actually needed to get it appraised, or if Service Ontario would have just taken the agreed sales price because that's the only value they have to go off of on. But in any case, a way to find out for your own vehicle is to look at the used vehicle information package. This package, the seller can purchase from Service Ontario for $20. And then finally, once everything is registered, you want to move the van to like your actual location where you're gonna like set up and start doing the conversion. And it is at this point that once the van is parked, that you want to call back to your insurance and then say, hey, like the van is parked now, so I don't want to drive it anymore. I just want to park it. Can you convert the insurance policy? And for us, the insurance policy, as I mentioned earlier, was quite cheap. It's only $20 a month to just park it. Of course, you're not allowed to legally drive it during that time, which is fine because we're going to do this conversion at this time. And another thing to mention is that we were quite surprised that at least Desjardins told me that once the car is converted, the insurance is actually cheaper. I thought it was going to be more expensive. They quoted me something like $500 per year versus me paying $130 per month for full insurance with the unconverted van. So I'm not really sure like how that works. Like I thought the finished conversion will cost more, but basically we haven't gotten to this point yet. But from what I gather so far is once the car is fully converted, you take some photos, you go back to Service Ontario, and they have a criteria of like 6 things where you say, I have a dedicated toilet, I have a battery that's separate from the car battery, I have it's basically a six list. So and you go to Service Ontario, you say, okay, now I'm trying to register this vehicle as a recreational vehicle or RV. And at that point, I believe, I could be wrong, they will issue you the blue license plates, and then you go back to your insurance and you send them the photos of the conversion, and you provide them the same kind of notice saying, I have finished the conversion, this is now a recreational vehicle. And then at that point, they will reassess your insurance based on my understanding. I could be wrong though. And so yeah, basically that is everything that we did for our camper van purchase in terms of the logistics. One thing to really keep in mind is that throughout this whole process, you really want to make sure there is no liens on the vehicle. And the liens information you will find from a Carfax, as well as you can find it through searching up through the Service Ontario database. There's a specific website that you can go to. You pay $8 and you can search up the liens. You can also look it up through the used vehicle information package. But the thing to keep in mind is that the liens information is only displayed accurate as the date of the printing of any of these documents. So when you make that purchase, you really want to make sure the liens information is as up to date as possible. So if you're buying it on the 1st of November, ideally you want to have the Carfax on the 1st of November, or you want to have the used vehicle information on the 1st of November, just so that the seller cannot register a lien after the fact. Because imagine like this could be a scam where the seller shows you, okay, here's a Carfax I did a month prior, and you're thinking, okay, well, a month prior is pretty close to when I'm going to purchase this vehicle, but maybe during that time the seller could have registered for lien on the vehicle, and then you don't know about this until you register the car, and then later on you find out, oh, there's a lien, and then you could have your car being repoed for not paying off the lien. This is actually something that almost happened to us. We tried to purchase a fully converted camper van back in February of 2025. We met up with the seller at their house. Everything looked fine. They didn't have a Carfax, and we were ready to buy it. And so we ordered the Carfax ourselves. And from the Carfax, we found out there was a lien on the vehicle. And so it just goes to show you that not all sellers are like as upfront and honest as our seller was, and we're really happy with our seller. Actually, they were like super upfront and honest about like all the work that needed to be done on the van, as well as like all the service histories. Yeah, so hopefully that helped you in your own purchase decision. Stay tuned and subscribe to this channel if you want to find out more information about our journey. We're planning to convert this van, and I'm going to document all the little steps along the way. All right, peace.